Hello, I'm Mike, this is Will, we are the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And we're bringing you the 80th and final issue of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest magazine today. And this issue we got the second half of the Magnavent Walkway, so we can finish that off and finish the complete collection. And before we head into the issue, you can find a timestamp in the description that will take you straight to the final battle. And we will show off the entire collection in a separate video, which will be out around about the same time as this one, and there'll be a link to it in the description as well.
And you'll also find in there our overall thoughts for the whole magazine.
Yes. Heading into the issue now, we have some lore on the Sisters of Battle, the last of the Imperium factions we've yet to see. So these are the sort of the militant arm of the Imperial Church, sort of warrior nuns kind of faction, who at about the time this magazine came out, this issue came out at least, had just received a much needed refresh of their range, because most of their miniatures up until then were all still in metal. They were that old, but here you can see some of the nice new sculpts. Tabletop-wise, they're kind of in between the Astra Militarum and the Space Marines. So they wear power armour and use bolt guns and that sort of thing, but they are just regular humans as opposed to superhumans like the Space Marines. Also, you can see here the Exorcist tank, which is an excellent model. Basically a pipe organ that's also a missile launcher. And then we're on to the painting guide for the Magnavent Walkway, which is going to be fairly similar to some of the other industrial terrain you've painted up until this point. I chose to paint all the stanchions black to match the Rise of Ruins we've had. And use a baleful gold instead of Retributor armour, so it looks more brass than gold. But otherwise, I pretty much use the same painting method here. And it shouldn't be much of a challenge at this point. There's nothing new here, really. And there you can see the completed model. I'm actually going to leave you here and hand you over to Will so you can explain how the Magnavent Walkway works and introduce the final mission.
And so we're on to our final battle for the run of the magazine. But before we get into that, we've got the new rules for our Magnavent Walkway. You can see it there, and it recommends placing it over the part on the spaceport board that matches underneath. What it does, only infantry, beasts and swarms of units that can fly can go on top of it, or set up on it, or when they're moved there on the upper levels. And unless they can fly, they have to climb ladders or girders or walls to move up and down. Infantry units that are entirely on or within, so presumably that means underneath, receive the benefit of cover. Other units only receive cover if they're at least 50% obscured from the shooting models. Now on the next page there's just some examples of how that works. So there's an intercessor climbing the walkway there, has to go up the ladder. And then down here the Dreadnought can gain cover from the stanchion there because it's more than 50% obscured, but the intercessors doesn't matter because they're infantry. And now our mission briefing. Well, over the course of the battle for Korvon II, despite it being much harder than Lord Felthius expected, and his plans not quite coming to fruition, he still has a chance to corrupt the planet entirely and gain the favour of Mortarion. Despite the setbacks, every Death Guard attack that he has launched has succeeded in weakening the barrier between real space and the warp in various locations. So on several areas of the planet, the warp has begun to bleed through. Now his sorcerers have come up with a plan to corrupt the planet fully. Thanks to Typhus's diversionary attack that we saw in the previous issue, the Space Marines are out of position, which has allowed Lord Felthius to head into Space Marine territory, the city of Alistranda, where he's trying to build a Noctilith Crown. If this is completed, then it should completely corrupt the planet, turn it into a plague-ridden nightmare realm. And here we actually have a planetary map showing the state of the conflict after all this time. So you can see there are vast areas that are coloured green, and these are the areas that have been corrupted by the Death Guard, apparently. They're large areas have just been abandoned, poisoned by the Death Guard. Citizens slain or driven away. Various locations on here that you might recognise, like Barachius, which the Space Marines still hold. The city of Kalon has fallen to the Death Guard in the end. Then over here's the part that matters. Up at the top there you can see Tam's Folly, which is where last issue's diversionary attack by Typhus and his Poxwalkers took place. And down here, near Barachius, in the city of Alistranda, is where Lord Felthius plans to complete his scheme. So the Space Marines have diverted forces to try and stop him. Well, I mentioned the Noctilith Crown, and that is actually what forms the centrepiece for this issue. So on the left we actually have a piece of printed terrain, which is the Noctilith Crown itself. There's a small picture there on the right which shows what it looks like when it's stood upright. It is placed in the centre of the board as shown there. And it does have a special rule. There are also two stratagems, one for each side, that are used in this mission, but I'll come back to those in a minute. Because here we have our mission description, the end is nigh. So you can see on the battlefield the Noctilith Crown is placed in the centre, like that, and that forms the objective. The Death Guard deployment zone is essentially the central of the three battle mats. They can deploy anywhere on there, and then the Space Marines have a 6-inch deployment zone at either short edge, the ends of the board. It says you can place the terrain in an agreed manner, but don't put terrain on the Noctilith Crown. And then our armies, we only need 60 power worth of models, but it doesn't say anything about the armies being battle forged, so we could technically bring an unbattle forged army, and it wouldn't matter anyway because it specifies we each have 3 command points to use. Deployment is very simple. The Death Guard deploy all their units in the deployment zone, then the Space Marines set up and the Space Marines get to go first. And the victory condition is also very simple. The end of the 6 battle round duration, add up the total power value of all units within 6 inches of the Noctilith Crown, and whoever has more wins the game. But as I said, the Noctilith Crown is not just an objective. Death Guard units that are wholly within 6 inches of it gain a 5+ invulnerable save. They each have a unique stratagem. The Space Marines want 3 command points to call in reinforcements, so all of the command points, but what this allows them to do is pick a unit with a power rating of 9 or lower has been destroyed, and then you can set it up again within 6 inches of any battlefield edge, more than 9 inches from enemy models, at its full starting strength. And the Death Guard stratagem is called Dug-In Defences. For 2 command points, you use this after setting up a unit, and then until that unit moves for any reason, adds +1 to the unit's saving throws against all shooting attacks. And I guess that includes invulnerable saves, because it doesn't say armour saves specifically. Now at the very end, we have what happens if either the Space Marines win, or the Death Guard win. We won't go through those, we'll actually read out the appropriate one depending on the outcome of the game at the end. So that's the mission and our new rules. Let's go have a look at the armies and then get straight into the game. So here is our Space Marine army for the final mission. Comes to 59 power in total, couldn't quite squeeze the extra 1 power out of the list. Down at the front there are 3 HQ choices: the Captain in Gravis armour, Captain Alistranda himself, who come to oversee the final battle, the Lieutenant with the Auto Bolt Rifle and the Librarian. Then moving back in the first rank, 2 units of 5 Intercessors, and the back rank, a unit of 5 Hellblasters and 3 Aggressors. And obviously in the centre, the Primaris Repulsor. It's outfitted with the anti-tank loadout, so we've got the Twin-Link Las Cannons, the Las Talon, Stormbolters on the sides, the Icarus Rocket Pod in the rear, the Ironhail Heavy Stubber in the turret, Fragstorm Grenade Launchers and the Crackstorm Grenade Launchers on the sides. And on the pintle mount, Onslaught Gatling Cannon.
So my warlord will be the Captain in Gravis armour. I'm going to give him the Sanctic Halo for the 3+ invulnerable save and the Deny the Wits chance. And I'm going to give him the Storm of Fire war trait, because even though most of the Death Guard are probably going to have invulnerable saves in this mission, getting that extra AP here and there still help, I think. And the Librarian's psychic powers are going to be Might of Heroes and Null Zone.
And here is 60 power worth of Death Guard to defend the Noctilith Crown. At the front we have Lord Felthius and the Malignant Plaguecaster. Then further back in the middle, the Foul Blightspawn, and then on the left 20 Poxwalkers, a single unit, and then 2 units of 5 Plague Marines. Front unit we've got 2 Blight Launchers, the rear one a Plasma Gun and the Icon of Despair, and both units have a champion with Plasma Gun and Power Fist. And then at the back, 3 Demon Engines, we've got the Myphitic Blight Hauler, the Fetid Bloat Drone, and then finally the Plague Burst Crawler. This has got the Entropy Cannons and the Rothail Volley Gun, which I don't think I've ever taken before. I usually take the other one because it has a longer range, but we've gone for this one because I don't think the range is going to matter very much in this game, and it has a higher AP. Lord Felthius will be my warlord. He will have the Tainted Regeneration warlord trait to try and keep him alive. The Malignant Plaguecaster of his psychic powers, he will have Miasma of Pestilence and Putrescent Vitality. And our relic we're going to give to the Plaguecaster the Pandemic Staff, because I think, well, one of 2 that I haven't actually used yet, because it gives him +1 to cast Smite on his psychic test. And here is our battlefield for this game. Now you'll notice immediately we do not have the printed terrain piece in the centre because we have the actual terrain piece. Here it is. This is actually a Noctilith Crown, and it will be in the centre of the battlefield like that. It's almost exactly the same size as the one on the printed side. So that will be providing an invulnerable save for Death Guard in the centre. In the centre, as you can see, we haven't put any terrain too close to it, so just to make a nice open space. On the middle board at the top there we have some airy terrain, a pipe and a box, and down the bottom a Sober Hauler, another box and a regulator. To the left, the new Walkway, which obviously actually dominates this board here. It's a shame we've only got it in one mission really, because it could be quite an interesting terrain feature otherwise, but then at the top there's some airy terrain and a box. And down here a crane and the other plasma regulator and a couple of pipes. And finally on the other side, the Mechanicus board down here, 1 Hematrex reactor and some airy train. And across the road, the other Hematrex reactor and the Alchemite stack and a few other bits and pieces. And the Death Guard get to deploy first, and they deploy in their entirety, then the Space Marines deploy, so we'll deploy everything and then come back and show you what we've got. The Death Guard have deployed, and trying to keep as close to the Noctilith Crown as possible, because the Space Marines get the first turn, so I want that 5+ invulnerable save on everybody, and also as close to it as possible to try and make sure the Space Marines are out of range. The one exception being the Plague Burst Crawler, which is here, and it is within 2 inches of those ammo boxes, and hopefully it won't have to move in the first turn, so we don't have to worry about that. But it has a 5+ invulnerable save anyway, so it doesn't really matter if it's not near the crown. And there's a big unit, 20 Poxwalkers with the Plague Caster in amongst them. Some Plague Marines on the left-hand side, the Blight Hauler on the right. There's a Fetid Bloke on this side. The Foul Blight Spawn is on the top end, so you can go either way. And there's a Plague Marine unit on the other side. I didn't mention in deployment, but even though we're using the actual terrain piece, which has holes in it, the mission specifies you can't draw a line of sight through the Noctilith Crown, nor can you move over it, even if you have fly. Well, it doesn't specifically say that, but it does say you can't move over it, so we'll abide by that. And finally, Lord Felthius is in the teleportarium, ready to appear where the Space Marines do. And I decided not to spend 2 command points on the stratagem to increase the saves of a unit, mainly because I only have 3 command points, and I don't know which side the Space Marines are going to come from, so I'll probably have to move most of the units anyway. And the only one I don't plan to move is the Plague Burst Crawler, which is quite tough anyway, so for the sake of 2 command points I think it's best not to. And then the Space Marines have deployed over here, so relative to the Noctilith Crown, that's the left-hand side as you see it.
So I've got the Hellblasters, the Repulsor, one squad of Intercessors here, the second one is these 5, and then the 3 characters, the Librarian, the Captain and the Lieutenant. And I decided to deploy all my army together because we have Warriors that are handy to have. Pretty better off keeping everyone together. And I picked this side because there was more cover and there aren't any ammo boxes on this side for the Death Guard to use, and I want to show off the new terrain piece.
And so the Space Marines get to take the first turn, so we'll be on to Space Marines turn 1.
So movement's been pretty simple. We're basically all just going to move up as far as we can go, try and get everyone to cover. So this squad is in cover under the gantry.
Yeah, so you can see them under there.
And the other ones can't go into cover so they can stop the characters getting shot at. And we're counting all of this blue bit as area terrain. And the repulsor just moved up and everyone's staying out of range of the Foul Blight Spawn. In the psychic phase, going to try and manifest Might of Heroes on the repulsor. So we need a 6. Ooh, get it with a 6.
Plague Caster is not in range to deny, so that goes off. So Might of Heroes on the repulsor, putting it up to toughness 9 most importantly. And then on to the shooting phase.
So we're going to start with the repulsor. We're going to put the Las Talon, the twin Las Cannons and the Icarus rocket launcher into the Bloat Drone, and all of the other guns into the squad of Plague Marines with the Blight launchers. So I'll do the Las Talon and the Las Cannons together. So we have 4 shots in total, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. We roll that 1 into a hit, so there's 3 hits. Wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s, because strength 9. Wound come on. No, only 1 wound.
Okay, a 5+ invulnerable save, which it has built in. Nope, that's a 3. Yeah, I'll let that go through.
D6 damage, 1.
And ignoring it on a 5. Oh, I did. No damage.
I've got the Icarus rocket launcher, heavy D3, so through D3 shots is 3. Hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, because we get +1 to hit against flying units. They all hit. Wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s because of the Lieutenant. 1 wound, saving -1.
Yeah, so 4+ save, which I made.
Now we're on to shooting at the Plague Marines, so I'll start with the Onslaught Gatling Cannon. 6 shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s because of the Captain. Roll that 1. They all hit. Wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s because of the Lieutenant. And strength 5. Roll that 1. Into a 6, so that's 2 at AP -1 and 2 at AP -2. That's normal fire.
AP -1, so 4 pluses. Made 1 third one. AP -2, 5 pluses. No, made both. So 1 goes through disgustingly resilient. No, I didn't pass it, so that is a dead Plague Marine. So actually just remember that they have cover from the Blight Hauler because they are within 7 inches of it. So I rolled a 3 and a 4 for those first saves, so they actually will pass.
And we got 3 shots from the Ironhail Heavy Stubber. 3s on 1, rerolling 1s, 1 hit. Wounds on 5. No. 4 shots from Stormbolters. Oh, they all hit. Wounds on 5s. Oh, there we go. There's 1 at AP nothing and 3 at AP -1.
So the AP nothing will be a 2+ for cover. Passed, and then 3 pluses. Made them all.
I'll do the Hellblasters next. They're going to shoot the same Plague Marine squad the Repulsor shot at. And we're going to overcharge, so we'll do them all individually. So Sarge hits. Hellblaster number 1 misses. Number 2 hits. 3 hits. 4 hits. So 4 hits. Wounding on 3s, run 1s. Oh, they all hit. They all wound.
I get an invulnerable save against all of these thanks to the Noctilith Crown. So these will be 5+ saves. Well, I made 2, so that definitely made a difference. And then 2 damage going through for each one. First one. Okay, 6 to 5. And the next one. Right, so that kills somebody. So we do lose a Plague Marine, and it will be that one.
I'll start with this Intercessor squad under the gantry. They're going to shoot at the same Plague Marines as well. 5 shots hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. Roll that 1. Into a hit. 5 hits. 3 on 5s. So there's 2 wounds, so 1 AC minus 1 and 1 AC minus 2.
So with cover I get 3+, which passed, and a 4+, which I failed. And resilient. Nope, that's another dead plague. And that will be this one.
And then the other intercessor squad will shoot at the same target as well. It's 5 shots hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. 1s reroll. 3 hits in total. Reroll 5s. Nothing. And last shooting, the lieutenant's going to fire at the bloat drone because it's not getting cover from the blight hauler. 2 shots hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. 1 hit. Wounds on 5. Nope.
But that's it. Obviously, no charging or fighting. We'll be on to Death Guard turn 1. So in my movement phase, well, I moved the bloat drone out normally because it would have been in range of some of these intercessors, but I've actually decided I'm going to advance with it, just to see if I can get the Hellblasters in range. So adding this onto what it's moved so far, 4 inches might be enough. So it gets to there, it's not quite within range of the Hellblasters, but getting itself in the way to be a nuisance. And these 3 Plague Marines from here moved over like that. Next we will advance with the Foul Blight Spawn around the corner there. He goes an extra 4 inches. He makes it to there. We will advance with the Poxwalkers and then the Plaguecaster as well, because his psychic powers aren't in range, so we might as well. So Poxwalkers, an extra 1, Plaguecaster, an extra 6. So the Poxwalkers have shuffled around like this, and the Plaguecaster has moved more into the middle. It's now in range with Smite. Plagueburst Crawler will stay where it is, because it can see the Repulsor and it's near the ammo boxes. And the other Plague Marine squad have moved around the Noctilith Crown, and the Blight Hauler has followed them. And I'll spend a command point going down to 2 to play Cloud of Flies on the 3 remaining Plague Marines with the Blight Launchers. On to the Psychic phase, we'll start with try and get Miasma of Pestilence, needing a 6. No, failing with a 5. Yeah, I'll keep that, I think. I'm not going to use a command point. And then we'll try and manifest Smite, and if it's successful, it'll hit these intercessors over here under the gantry. 5. Ooh, getting it with an 8.
Might as well try and deny. I need a 9.
Yep. D3 mortal wounds. 2, so that kills an intercessor. On to the shooting phase, we'll start with the Plagueburst Crawler. We'll put the 2 entropy cannons and the mortar into the repulsor. And unfortunately, the Rot Hail Volley gun isn't in range. Taking the shorter range gun, possibly not the best idea in hindsight, but never mind. Entropy cannons at the repulsor, 2 shots on 4s, re-rolling 1s, 1 hit. It's on a 5 though, because my heroes. Oh, that's a 5. That doesn't get an armor save, so D6 damage for 3.
Down to 13.
And the Plagueburst Mortar, D6 shots for 6. Reroll 4s, rerolling 1s, reroll that 1, 4 hits. Reroll 5s, rerolling 1s. Nothing but 2 1s. Oh, 2 6s, so it's 2 wounds.
2 5+ saves. Made neither.
2d3 damage for 5.
It's down to 8.
Next we'll do the Blight Hauler. Put a Crack Missile and the Multi-Melter into the repulsor. Crack Missile hitting on 4. Nope. Multi-Melter hitting on 4. Yes. Wounding on 5. No. The Bloat Drone next. Puts Plague Spitters into this Intercessor squad in the centre of the gantry area. 2d6 automatic hits for 3. Wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s. That's 2 wounds.
2 3+ saves because we have cover.
Yep, because they're under the gantry.
Made both.
Do the squad of Plague Marines at the back next. Plasma guns are only in range of the repulsor, so we'll put 2 supercharged shots into that. And all the bolt guns will go into the same intercessors under the gantries. Plasma guns, so the champion first, hitting on a 3. That's 2, so he missed. And the other guy hits, wounds on a 5. Nope, 3 bolt guns at the intercessors, 2 hits. Wounding on 4s, nothing. We'll do the other Plague Marine squad. They will put everything into the repulsor. And I will spend a command point for Veterans of the Long War, which drops me down to 1 and gives them +1 to wound. So supercharged plasma gun shots, not in rapid fire range, hitting on a 3. That's hit. Wounds on a 4 because Veterans of the Long War gives me +1. That's 4.
6+ save. No. It's down to 6.
2 damage. And the Blight Launchers hitting on 3s. 3 hits. Wounding on 4s because again it would be 5s. Oh, still only 1 wound.
5+. Made it.
But that's all my shooting. Did some good damage to the repulsor, but basically nothing else, so we'll see how it goes. As we go on to Space Marines, turn 2.
So in my movement, the repulsor's down to a 5-inch move. It's just going to move on top of the box because it can't really fit anywhere else. And everyone else is just going to move back a bit to make it a little bit harder for the Foul Blight Spawn to charge us.
That includes these intercessors under here, and we've shuffled back a bit. And then we'll be on to the Psychic phase.
I'm going to make a slight adjustment in the movement phase. I realise the repulsor's now at range of Lieutenant, so I'm just going to move him so he's within range, and it's within range of those ammo boxes. So we'll start with Might of Heroes, try and cast it on the repulsor again, try and keep it alive a little bit longer. Needing a 6, getting it with a 10.
I won't try and stop that. I'd rather stop Smite.
Yep, and try and cast Smite, and it'll hit the bloke drone. Get it with a 5.
So I'll try and stop that, needing more than a 5, which I did.
The repulsor's going to go first, and we're just going to put everything into that because I want to kill it. Lance cannons into the bloke drone. We've got 4 shots hitting on 4s, you're rolling 1s. 3 hits. Wounding on 3s, you're on 1. Let's try and do better. 2 wounds. 80-4 if it mattered.
Yeah, well it doesn't because I have an invulnerable save, which I failed both of. Yeah, okay, I don't have enough command points to reroll these.
2d6 damage. 7.
7 wounds, ignoring them on 5s. I've ignored 2, so it goes down to 5 wounds.
The Icarus rocket pod, d3 shots. 1. Hits on a 3 because it gets +1 to hit. 1s. Oh, it hits. Wounds on a 4. Oh, it does, an AP -2.
Yeah, so 5 plus either way. That's a 5.
Yeah. And the Onslaught Gatling Cannon, 6 shots hitting on 4s, you're on 1s. 3 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1.
AP -1. 4 plus. So yep.
The Iron Heavy Stubber hits on 4s, you're on 1s. 1 hit. Wounds on 5. Nope. Stormbolters hitting on 4s. 2 hits. First Stormbolter gets 2 wounds. And then the second Stormbolter, as we forgot about Rapid Fire, rerolls on 1s. 2 hits as well, on 5s. Oh, from the Stormbolters, that's 3 normal wounds and 1 AP -1.
Normal ones with no AP on 3 plus. Failed 1, I'll do that in a second. I'll do the AP. Oh, right, failed the AP -1 as well. 2 5 pluses. 2 more damage, down to 3.
We've got 2 Frag Storm Grenade Launchers, so 2d6 shots. 6, hitting on 4s. That's 4 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1 at AP -1.
4 plus. Nope. 5 plus. Nope. Down to 2.
And Crack Storm Grenade Launchers, 2 of them, hitting on 4s, you're on 1s. 1 hit. Wounds on a 5. Well, it does. AP -1.
4 plus. Nope.
D3 damage. 3.
Ooh, need to make one of these to keep it alive. No, 2 of them, sorry. I've only made 1, so it goes down. And yeah, it's not worth my last command point, I think. It did, yeah. It might blow up on a 4. It did. So everything within 7 takes a mortal wound. So that actually only hits the repulsor because Michael was sensible and kept everybody else out of 7 inches. So, but the blow drone goes down.
The Hellblasters are going to shoot at the Foul Blight Spawn.
Because he's now the closest target.
Yep, and he's not quite within 6 inches of the thingamajig, so no vulnerable save.
No, I moved him too far.
So 1 at a time, 1 shot each, starting with the Sergeant, hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. Hits. Hellblaster number 1. Hits. Number 2. Misses. Number 3. Rolls that 1 into a hit. And 3 hits. When you're on 3s, you're rolling 1s.
No.
Well, there we go.
Well, and as I discussed, I don't get any invulnerable saves, so this is just 6 damage going through. So I need to ignore at least 3 of these to keep him alive. I've ignored 2. No, it's not worth my command point because there's still 10 intercessors left to shoot, and they'll probably be able to take 1 wound off him. So that is the Foul Blight Spawn dead as well.
I'll do the Lieutenant next. He'll shoot at the Plague Marine squad with the Blight Launchers because he is the closest, even though they've got Cloud of Flies. He has 2 shots hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. They both hit. They wound on 5s, you're rolling 1s. Oh, 1 on a 4, how as usual. Nope. Next up is the larger Intercessor squad, so I'm going to shoot at the full squad of Plague Marines. So we have 5 shots, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s. Wounding on 5s, re-rolling 1s. Whoa!
Quadruple 6. Yeah. Fortunately, I have cover from the Blight Hauler, so these will be 4 pluses, not 5 pluses, with that AP -2. Okay, well, that did help, so only 1 goes through. And I'm going on 5. Oh, I did.
And then the smaller squad of Intercessors, with only 4 men left, will shoot at the same target. 4 shots hitting on 3s, rolling 1s, they will hit. Wounding on 5s. 2.
No, these are 3 plus because of cover, which I've made. Alright, all the Space Marine shooting, so we will be on to Death Guard, turn 2. We're going to start off with advancing the Poxwalkers again, because I really need them to be closest to everything in the Space Marine army. And they go an extra 3. The Poxwalkers have moved around to form a shield. We've got the Plaguecaster in the middle, the 2 squads of Plague Marines have moved up as well. I used Cloud of Flies on the smaller squad of Plague Marines again, who are now thoroughly hidden amongst the pack. And Blight Haulers staying there to keep the larger squad of Plague Marines in its cover aura. And the Plague Squaller won't move, and Lord Felthius will stay up in the Teleportarium for the moment. On to the Psychic phase. We will try and do a Smite first of all, because the repulsor is within 18. Needing a 5, but I do get. I forgot this last time, but I get +1 to it because of his relic. So a 9, that is.
Might as well try and deny, but I'll need a 10. Nope.
D3 mortal wounds to the repulsor. 3. And then we will go for miasma of pestilence. 6, getting a 6.
Try and deny that with the captain. 7.
Okay.
Denies that.
On shooting, we'll start with the Blight Hauler first. We'll put everything into the repulsor. So Crack Missile hitting on 4. Nope. And Multi-Motor hitting on 4. That hit. Wounding on 5. Oh, that's a 6. Multi-Motor, so it's no save. D6 damage for 6. So that is enough.
Does it explode? No.
No, it doesn't. So the repulsor goes down.
That's my role for the aggressors who have to get out.
Yeah, so I didn't catch on a camera, but no ones, so they're all alive.
And the aggressors are going to get out of the box so they can't be shot at.
The Blade Burst Crawler will put the 2 guns that are in range into the Hellblasters. HP cannons hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. So 1 hit. Wounds on a 2. It's a wound.
6 plus from cover. No.
D6 damage. Oh, just 1. It doesn't kill anyone. And Mortar, D6 shots, 2. Hitting on 4s. Nothing. So now we're onto the larger Plague Marine squad. They'll put their shots into the 4 intercessors in cover under the gantry. I will supercharge the plasma guns. Champion on 3. Missed. Not the other guy. Hit. Wounds on a 2. That's a wound.
5 plus.
Yeah, because you're in cover, but no, so that's a dead intercessor. Making them one at the end. And 3 bolt guns hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. 1 wound.
2 plus. Fine.
And the other 3 Plague Marines will also shoot at the same target. I'll actually do the Blight Launchers first because I'm not going to supercharge Plasma Gun. 4 shots on 3s. They all hit. Wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s. That's 4 wounds.
4 plus saves. Ooh, failed 3.
D3 damage each. First one. 2. Second one. 1. So the third shot takes that one. So it's 2 dead. And a single Plasma Gun not supercharged. Misses, so good thing I didn't supercharge it. But that is it for my shooting. Intercessor Sergeant only lost 3 models this turn, so he doesn't need a morale test. And we're on to Space Marines turn 3.
Right, so in the middle, the aggressors advanced, done a roll of 6. They're all going to be in range of the Poxwalkers. And then the lone Intercessor Sergeant, and the other full squad of Intercessors, and all the characters have moved under the gantry, and the Hellblasters have moved up, as we need to start actually contesting the objective at some point.
Shoot those characters in there, and be on to the Psychic phase.
So we're going to start with Smite. It will hit the Poxwalkers. Needing 5, getting a 7.
Might as well try and stop this. Nope, that's a 6.
D3 more wounds. 1.
Ignoring on 5. I do.
We'll try and cast Might of Heroes on the Captain. We're getting it with a 7. We'll start with the aggressors, and they're going to fire their Flamestorm Gauntlets at the Poxwalkers. 66 automatic flame hits. 24. First 12, wounding on 3s. 7 wounds so far. Next batch of 12. It's going to be 9 wounds, so 16 in total.
They are all within 6 inches of the Noctilith Crown, so they do get a 5 plus invulnerable save. This is the first 12. Made 5 so far, and we made 4, made 2 of them. And then Disgustingly Resilient, ignoring 3, so 6 dead overall. I've taken them all off this end over here.
Yeah, we're going to do the Hellblasters next, and they're going to shoot at the larger squad of Plague Marines with the plasma guns. So, starting with Sarch. 1 shot hitting on 3s, roll 1s. Roll that 1. Into a hit. Wounded Man. Misses. No, misses. Reroll that 1. Into a hit. And Hellblast number 5 misses. 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, rolling 1s. Oh, they wounded at least.
And 5 plus invulnerable save. Made both.
Larger squad of Intercessors against the 5 Plague Marines as well. 5 shots hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. They all hit, wounding on 5s. 2 wounds at AP-1. AP-2, sorry.
Oh yes, 4 plus because I have cover. Move on fail 1. Disgustingly Resilient. Nope, that's a dead Plague Marine. I'll take away this one.
The lone Intercessor Sergeant will shoot at the Poxwalkers because he's actually in rapid fire range of them. 2 shots hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. That's 1 hit. Wounds on 3. Rerolling that 1. Get it in the box. Be wounded.
5 plus save against this. No. And Disgustingly Resilient. No, it's a dead Poxwalker.
Finally, the Lieutenant will shoot at the Plague Marines as well. 2 shots hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. Yeah, reroll that 1. Into a hit. Wounding on 5s. Nothing.
Well, that's it for the Space Marine shooting, and there won't be any charges. Those aggressors advanced. We'll be on to Death Guard turn 3. There's not a great deal of movement because I don't really want to get too far away from my aura of 5 plus invulnerable. So the Plague Marines over there have moved up a little bit. Poxwalkers just shuffled a little bit just to bring the line round, and Lord Felthius has decided to appear. Not because I feel like I need him at this point, but because if he stands there, he's 7 power that needs to be removed from the objective. On to the psychic phase. You start with putrescent vitality, actually. Needing a 6, I think. That's an 8.
I'll try and deny that. Needing a 9. Nope.
Right, I'll put that on the Poxwalkers, and then we'll just try and do a smite on 5. Just because he's +1 for smite, so that is a 5.
That's the bare minimum. I'm going to deny, need a 6.
Yeah.
Phew, that's the one I wanted to deny, really.
On to the shooting phase, and it's going to be Operation Get Rid of the Aggressors, hopefully. We'll start with the 4-man squad of Plague Marines. The front bolt gun man is close enough to throw a crack grenade, and then we'll have 2 plasma guns and a bolt gun. Plasma guns will supercharge, because I think, well, we'll see how this goes. We'll start with the champion on 3, he hit. And the other guy on 3, he also hit. Wounding on 3s, 2.
6s. Oh, made one fail. So, aggressor dies.
Crack grenade on 3, hits. Wounds on 3, yes.
4+. Yep.
And bolt gun, 3s, 1. And 5s, no. The other Plague Marine squad, we'll shoot everything at them. Light launchers, 4 shots on 3s. 3 hits, wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s, 2 wounds.
5+.
Oh,
finally.
And plasma gun, we won't supercharge it. 2 shots on 3s, they both hit. Wound on 3s, 1.
6+.
Oh. Well, I guess we'll do the Blight Hauler into them next. Multi-melter on 4 hits, wounds on 3. Yes, well, no save. D6 damage, 2, that's just enough. Crack missile on 4. Yes, wounds on 3, that's a wound.
5+.
Yep. And the Bile Split, these 3 shots. 1, it's on 4. Oh, it did. Wounds on 3. No. Plague Burst Crawl will have to have a go. But we will put the mortar into the Hellblasters over there. Rot Hell Volley Gun and the entropy cannons into the Aggressor Sergeant. So start with the entropy cannons, 2 shots on 4s, rerolling 1s, 1 hit. Wounds on 3. Yep, save. D6 for 1. He lives. And the Rot Hell Volley Gun finishing off. It has 3 shots hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. So, 2 hits. And it's strength 6, so it wounds on 3s. Yep, and AP -2.
5+.
Oh, again! And the mortar is going to the Hellblasters, so D6 shots for 2. Which hit on 4s, rerolling 1s, 1 hit. Wounds on a 2. Yes.
5+. Nope.
No, so the wounded man goes down.
Bleh.
Well, we've got one last chance, well, in the shooting phase at least, which will be the Plaguecaster's Bolt Pistol. Can it do it? 1 shot hitting on 3. Here, hit. Wounding on 5. No. Well, I could charge him, but then that would leave my Plague Marines out in the open, and then the Poxwalkers, and then the Space Marines could charge them and get a load of extra movement, so we're not going to do that. So the Aggressor Sergeant lives to fight another day. As we're on to Space Marines turn 4.
Right, so everyone's going to move up, because we actually need to be near the objective in order to win the game, and getting into rapid fire range might help kill some of the enemy models. Yeah, there isn't really much more strategy than that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So beyond to the target phase. We're going to start by trying to cast Smite, needing 5, getting an 8. And it'll hit the Poxwalkers if it's successfully cast.
Try and stop this, needing a 9. No, that's a 7, so...
D3 mortal wounds, 1 again.
On Poxwalker, which ignores it again.
Yep. And then we're going to try and cast Null Zone on the off chance we manage to charge. Well, we need an 8, because we're still using the old codex.
Oh, that is an 8. So, so just to explain what that actually does, never seen it before. The Librarian has an aura of negating invulnerable saves within 6 inches of his person, so...
Right, so it's on to the shooting phase. And I think we'll start with the Aggressor Sergeant. He's going to put his flamers into the Waxwalkers. 2 6 shots, 11. Only on 4s because of Putrescent Vitality.
Well, only 1 3, so a tiny bit of
2, 3,
difference.
4, 5, 6.
Still got that invulnerable save, so 5s. Made 3, so 3 go through. And 5s again. Oh, none, so we kill 3. I'll take those 2 from the back. We'll take this one off the end.
We're going to do the Hellblasters next, and they're going to shoot at the Plague Marine squad with the light launchers. So we are going to overcharge, and we are on rapid fire at last. So 2 shots hitting on 3s, rerolling 1, starting with the Sarge, 2 hits. Number 2, 2 hits. Number 3, 2 hits. Number 4, 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s. 6 wounds.
I've got that 5+ invulnerable save again, mate. Oh, I only made 1, so 5 go through, and there are only 3 models left. Got to make several sets of 2, so that's dead for the first shot. Second one, oh, made it. So third shot, that's dead. And the last guy is also dead, and there's a shot spare. So they are removed, and it's also worth pointing out that that's 7 power that isn't sitting on the objective anymore, so every little helps.
Next we're going to do the full squad of intercessors at the remaining Plague Marine squad. 10 shots, hitting on 3s, rolling 1. 1 into a hit, 9 hits. Wounding on 5 wounds. 4 wounds, so that's going to be 2 at AP -1 and 2 at AP -2.
Blight Hall is still giving me cover though, so it's going to be 2 3+, which I've passed, and 2 4+, which I have passed.
Lone Intercessor Silence going to shoot at the same squad. 2 shots hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. He got a hit. 1 on a 5. 3 rolling 1s. Nope. And the Lieutenant will shoot them as well. 2 shots hitting on. Come on, but.
No.
The Librarian will shoot at them as well. 1 shot hitting on. Yeah. And finally, the Captain will shoot them as well. He's got 3 shots hitting on 3s with his boxed on bullet. 3 on 5s. 2 wounds at AP nothing.
Cover, so 2+. Yep, double 6. And then we have a charge phase for the first time.
We're going to start with the big Intercessor squad, and they're going to charge the Poxwalkers.
Down Overwatch, obviously.
Whoop. Well, 3 is not enough. Only other charge aggressor sergeant's going to charge that unit of Plague Marines.
Well, we will Overwatch. We'll do a crack grenade and bolt gun and plasma guns. Crack grenade on 6. Nope. Plasma gun's not supercharged. We'll miss. And a bolt gun on 6s. 1 6. Wounds on a 5. Well, what's a wound?
3+. He
made it.
Charge distance 10. And he'll finish his charge there. And then I'm not going to declare any more charges. He'll go straight to the fight phase where he'll pile in to bring that into melee. He's being very brave. So he has 3 attacks because we're still using the old rules. Hitting on 4s. 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. Nothing.
The Icon Bearer will pile in slightly, as will the Bolt Gunner, so they can both attack him. We'll do the power of his first 2 attacks on 4s. 1 hit. Wounds on a 3. Nope, that's a 1. And then we've got 3 knives hitting on 3s. 1 hit. Wounds on a 5. Rerolling 1s. Rerolling 1s. Nope. But the Blight Hauler does get to try and attack him, so we'll do that. 3 attacks on 4s. 1 hit. Wounds on a 3. Rerolling 1s. That's a 1. That's a wound.
5+.
Oh, his armour's clearly been blessed by the technique.
It's the guy who killed Typhus.
But that's it, there's no more melee combat, and so we'll be on to Death Guard turn 4. In my movement phase, the Poxwalkers are going to move out. We're going to try and block the Space Marines. We're probably going to lose them anyway, so they might as well do something useful, get in the way. And the Plague Marines and the Blight Hauler are going to stay in melee, because if I fall back, then I won't get to shoot with them, whereas I might be able to get rid of him in the Psychic phase, and that will leave their firepower available. When I kill the aggressor, Michael can spend 3 command points to bring the whole unit back, but I think I'd rather have some shooting in this phase and deal with them later. And obviously the Plague Burst Crawler is not going to move, so we'll be on to the Psychic phase. We'll start by trying to manifest Putrescent Vitality, put it on Poxwalkers if it goes off, but I'm also looking for that 7+ to cast to get that mortal wound on the aggressor sergeant. I'm needing a 6, but a 7 would be nice. Oh, how about a Perils? Let's have that instead. Well, I've got no command points, so that's just going to be D3 mortal wounds to him. 3. And throwing them on 5s. Oh, that's alright. Okay, he only takes 1 wound, but still. No Putrescent Vitality.
Down to 3 wounds.
And we're just going to go for Smite, because I need to get rid of that aggressor sergeant. So, needing a 5. Oh, that's a 5 exactly. Sorry, that's a 6, because he has +1 from his relic, so...
Try and deny. The Librarian is just outside of 12 inches, so it doesn't really matter who I use. I'm going to need a 7 to deny the Smite, which I did not get. I'm not going to spend a command point to try and reroll that 1, because I might be able to bring something back. It's a tough decision. Sarge is going to die. It does mean all of those units get to shoot, though.
Go on to the shooting phase then, and we'll start with the Plague Burst Crawler. It's going to put everything into the Hellblasters. Entropy Cannons hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. That's a 4 and a 1, reroll. 2 another 1, so 1 hit, wounds on a 2. That's a wound, no save, for -4. D6 damage, for 1, so a wound on Hellblaster.
That one there.
We'll do the Rot Hell gun next to see if we can finish him off. So 4s, rerolling the 2 1s. Nothing. And Plague Burst Mortar, D6 shots for 1. Hits on a 4. That's a hit at least. Wounds on a 2. That's a wound.
5+. Nope.
So Hellblaster dies. We'll do the Blight Hauler next because it has been freed up to shoot. We'll shoot everything at the Hellblasters again, although the Bile Spurt is not quite in range. So we'll do the Multi-Melter hitting on a 4. No. And the Crack Missile hitting on a 4. No. And then those Plague Marines will also shoot everything at the Hellblasters. We won't supercharge because I'm going to need units alive at the end of the game, so blowing them ourselves up is not a good idea. So 4 shots hitting on 3s. 4 5s. Wounding on 3s. That's 3.
6 plus armour saves. Made none. 1 will die, and the other will take a wound.
4 shots from bolt guns on 3s. Oh dear, that's 1 hit. Wounds on 4. Nope. And last we've got the Plaguecaster's bolt pistol, which is in range of them. So wounding on a 3, and wounding on a 4. Oh, it's a wound.
3 plus. Yeah.
That brings us on to the charge phase. The Poxwalkers will charge the large unit of intercessors and take any casualties so far.
One will throw a frag grenade and the others will fire their bolt rifles. So the grenade gets d6 shots, 6. Hitting on 6s, rolling 1s. Oh, I got a hit. Wounds on a 4. It does.
Ignoring it on 5. Oh, I did.
8 bolt rifles. 2 hits. Only on 3s. Oh, there you go, only 1. Oh, re-rolling 1s because of the lieutenant, yes. No.
No, so 1 wound, which I ignored. So, and they're definitely in, but I better roll it. 9 inches is loads. They finish their charge like that. I won't declare any more charges. Captain and Librarian were within 3 inches. They can't get into combat with the Poxwalkers, but you, when making a heroic intervention, you just have to move close to the nearest model. You don't have to get within an inch, so they're just getting a bit of extra distance. And I'll pile in, making sure I don't get within an inch of any other enemy units, because I don't want any more attacks coming at them. Then we've got 20 attacks hitting on 5s, because I've only got 10 models left. I'll do first 10. That is 5 hits so far, not bad. I'll do the wounds for these and then all the saves at the end. So that's 1 wound so far, and I'll do the next 10. 3 hits. No, that one's got 4 hits. 5s, 3 more, so 4 wounds.
3 plus saves.
Oh dear.
Failed 3. So an intercessor will die. I'll take away that one. Another 2 wound.
And then we'll add a Poxwalker to the back of the unit over there.
And the intercessors will pile in a bit. And attacks hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. It's only 6 hits. Only on 3s, rolling 1s because of the lieutenant. 5 wounds.
5s to ignore. Made 2, so 3 Poxwalkers die. Take ones out the middle so that we can maintain blockade like that. So that will be the end of Death Guard turn 4. On to Space Marines turn 5.
So over here, the Hellblasters and the Lieutenant have moved up. The Intercessors have fallen back from the Poxwalkers, and we're leaving a gap for the Captain so that he might be able to charge round. Where he is, he had to shuffle along a bit to keep everyone in aura range. The Librarian's going to stay where he is for now, and then the other Intercessor Sergeant has just moved around to maybe throw a cheeky grenade at Felthius. Then at the end of my movement phase, I'm going to spend all 3 of my command points to bring back the Aggressor Squad, just about 9 inches away from the Plague Burst Crawler.
Yeah, and that's using the special stratagem comes with the mission, and they're within 6 inches of this table edge.
And it's on to the Psychic phase. The Librarian will start with Null Zone, needing an 8, not getting it with a 3, and then he'll try and cast Might of Heroes on the Captain, needing a 6, getting a 12, Sacred Perils.
Yep, I can't stop it, but he takes 2 wounds.
I'll start with the Hellblasters. They'll overcharge at the Plague Marines. 2 shots hitting on 3s, rolling 1s.
Look.
Reroll those.
Yeah.
Sarge dies, but gets a hit, and the other guy, reroll that 1, gets a hit as well. So we've got 3 hits. Wounding on 3s, rolling 1s, because the Lieutenant, they were wounded.
I get my 5+ invulnerable save thanks to the Noctilith Crown, which I've made 1 of, so that 2 go through. Double Disgusting Resilient, 1 Plague Marine dead, and 2 dead.
So Hellblaster Sergeant blows up.
And we'll get rid of the 2 Plague Marines that don't have plasma guns.
Then we'll do the Intercessors next. Sarge will throw a crack grenade at those Plague Marines, and the other 3 will fire their bolt rifles. So we've got a crack grenade hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s because of the Captain, and we fell back. We hit. Wounds on a 3, rerolling 1s. Of course, it rolled a 2. And 6 bolt rifle shots. Those 2 ones. 5 hits. Wounding on 5s, rerolling 1s. Roll that 1. 2 wounds at 81 as well.
Yep, but I've got cover from the Blight Hauler, so 3+. Play both.
Do the Captain next. He'll fire his Bolt Storm Gauntlet at the Poxwalkers. 3 shots hitting on 2s, rolling 1s, they will hit. Wounding on 3s, rolling 1s, they will wound.
Not in range for the Noctilith Crown, so straight to Disgusting Resilient, which will make 1. 2 dead Poxwalkers. We'll get rid of that one there and that one there.
Then the Librarian will throw a frag grenade at those Poxwalkers. 6 shots, 6, hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. 4 hits, wounding on 4s, they all wound.
Alright, Disgusting Resilient. I'll make 2 more dead though. Yeah, so we're getting this one, and then this one down here, because I think that keeps the remaining ones in as annoying position as possible.
And then the Lieutenant will fire at the 2 remaining Plague Marines. 2 shots, hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. 1 hit, wounds on 5. We're wounded, and it's AP-1.
Ah, so 3+ thanks to cover. That's a 6.
The lone intercessor sergeant will throw a crack grenade at Lord Felthius. One shot hitting on a 3, he hits. Wounds on a 3, he wounds.
AP-1, so 3+. Oh, that's a 2. Oh, come on, points.
D3 damage, 1.
Ignoring on a 5. Nope, he takes a wound. And Lord Felthius is down to 5.
The aggressors are going to charge the Plague Burst Crawler.
I get to Overwatch, not with the mortar because it's within its minimum range, but 2 entropy cannons hitting on 6s. Nope. And the Rot Hail volley gun thing also misses.
Going to need a 9-inch charge.
Oh, it was nearly a 9.
Yeah, no. The captain will charge Lord Felthius and the box always. Yeah, I'm not going to charge those Plague Marines.
Well, none of them have guns.
Charge distance is 8. So an 8 is just about enough. It will get him to about there. And then the Librarian will charge Felthius as well. And the box always, yeah, just in case. And he gets 6. That's definitely not going to be able to get into Felthius.
Yeah, so he can't. The barrels are in the way, which would take up some of his movement. So
he'll actually go over here, so he's within range of the lieutenant. And that'll be it for my charges. Start with the Librarian. He'll end up here.
Round closer to the.
He has 4 attacks. He's on 3s, rerolling 1s. For the captain. Of course, he gets 2 2s. Wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s. 1 wound, D3 damage. 3 at least.
Oh, he only almost, but yeah, he kills a bot. I'll kill this one over here now because it's irrelevant.
Then we'll pile in like that. Right, so I'm going to use the Gauntlet. So he's got 6 attacks hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. That 2 goes away, roll that 1 into a hit. That's good. Not wounding on 2s because we're strength of 10. Not rerolling 1s because we're not near the lieutenant. Made a difference. It's 4 wounds, sorry, not 8.
4 plus 1 also. Made 2, failed 2, so that's average.
2d3 damage. 4.
Also average. Ignoring on 5s. Takes 3 wounds, down to 2. 2 his hits back first. 4 attacks hitting on 2s. Oh, hit. No death to the False Emperor. Wounding on 3s. Yeah, he's only. Yeah, Lord Felthius is strength 7 1. That's 3 wounds.
3 plus invulnerable saves. Failed 1.
So d3 damage for 2. And these 2 Poxwalkers will pile in and attack the Librarian. 4 attacks hitting on 5s. 6 attacks hitting on 5s. 2. Wounding on 5s. 1.
3 plus save.
Librarian's down to 2 wounds. But that's it for Space Marines turn 5. The Plague Marines only lost 2 models, so they don't have to take a morale test. On to Death Guard turn 5. Start of my turn, Lord Felthius regains a wound for his Aura trait up to 3. And then his Lord of Contagion Aura means that the Librarian and the Captain will take a mortal wound on a 4+, because they're within an inch of a Death Guard unit that's within 7 of him. So the Captain on a 4+, nope. And the Librarian, nope. In my movement phase, the Poxwalkers have fallen back from the Librarian, because even though only 3 of them left, they're still worth 6 power, run on the objective the last turn. Plaguecaster has moved a little bit to try and get as far away from the incoming Space Marines, and the Plague Marines have moved to protect him. And the Blight Hauler has fallen back, and Plague Burst Crawler will stay where it is. And we'll be on to the Psychic phase. Try and do Smite first, the Captain is the closest. Getting +1 to this, needing 5 total. 7 was, so that's 8.
I'll try and deny with the Librarian. You roll an 8. I do roll a 12.
That could be important because that means the Captain isn't going to take a load of mortal wounds. Yeah. Then we're going to try and manifest Putrescent Vitality on Lord Felthius. Needing a 6. Getting it with a 10.
Yeah, might as well try and deny with the Captain. Needing 11.
Oh, not quite. But that does put Putrescent Vitality on Felthius, and it means a mortal wound to the Captain because of the Pestilential Fallout. And then we'll be on to the shooting phase. Plague Burst Crawler will start. It's going to put everything into the Intercessors. We'll start with the Rot Hail Volley Gun. 3 shots on 4s, rerolling 1s, rerolling for 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. No, nothing. Do the mortar, d6 shots for 5. And 4s, rerolling 1s, 4 hits. Wounding on 2s. That's 2, yeah, 4 wounds.
4 5+ saves. Made 2, so.
Well, wounded man dies, and then the second hit does 2 damage, so it takes out another one. And finally, the entropy cannons on 4s, 1 hit. Wounds on a 2. Wounds, no save, d6 damage for 3. We can do the Plague Marines next. Captain is the closest, but he's a character, so he doesn't block shooting at the Librarian, who is the next closest. So we will shoot 4 plasma gun shots at him, not supercharged. 4 shots on 3s, 3 hits. Wounding on 3s, oh, 1. He's going to live.
6+, yeah, it's down to 1 wound.
Well, Plaguecaster's Bolt Pistol will attempt the same thing, so I've already got a better target. It hit. Wounded.
3+.
Oh.
Yep.
The Blight Hauler. We'll put everything into that remaining Hell Blaster. Melter, 4. Nope. Crack Missile, 4. Nope. Bile Spurt, D3. 3. On 4s, 2 and 3 rolling 1s. 2 wounds.
4+. He lives.
I won't declare any charges because I don't want to get outside of the range of the objective or my invulnerable save. So we'll go straight to the fight phase where Lord Felthius will fight the captain. 4 attacks hitting on 2s. They will hit. He's strength 8, but it's still toughness 6, so 3s. That's 2, so 3 wounds.
3+ invulnerable save.
So 2d3 damage. He says, yes, 6. Right, so that's the end of Death Guard turn 5.
Yeah, and I'm just going to concede at this point because I only have 23 power left worth of models, and there's something like 35 power worth of Death Guard in range, plus another 6 of those Poxwalkers get in range, so...
Yeah, and actually almost all of your power is in 3 models.
Yeah.
I can easily kill off those. So.
Yeah, it's the 2 sergeants of 10, and the lone hellboss is 8, so it's 18 power. With 5 wounds, you're easily going to do that, so...
So it will be a Death Guard victory, and indeed a victory for the campaign for Korvon II. And so the story here is that the Space Marines, and presumably the rest of the Imperial forces, lie dead, and their warships flee orbit as the Death Guard take over the planet, and it is corrupted and turned into a demon world dedicated to Nurgle. The Imperium will surely be back, and so they're going to fortify it to resist any further incursions. But that is the end of this issue's game, so we'll recap all that for you now. So that was the game for the final issue of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest. As we said, there is another video where we're going to give our overall thoughts on the entire collection and the magazine, all the games we've had so far, the 2 armies. But in this outro, we're going to limit ourselves solely to the game and the issues we've just seen. So if you want to go and check out that other thing with all our thoughts on the overall collection, there's links up in the cards or in the description. But how do you think that battle went?
Well, my first turn didn't go very well.
I think, unfortunately, that kind of set the tone for the game.
If the aggressor sergeant hadn't made all those armour saves, the game probably would have ended on turn 4.
Yeah, you rolled amazingly for those armour saves, which kept you in the game, I guess.
I think if the repulsor had done better in the first turn, like if I destroyed the bloat drone or at least damaged it, I wouldn't have been quite so conservative with my movement.
Yeah, I think you did leave a whole turn where you didn't really move, I
mean, you did have 6 turns, so you do have easily enough time to get...
Yeah.
It hasn't been like some of the other games where I've had to basically sprint across the entire board in 5 turns.
Yeah.
And I probably in this game left it a bit too late to bring a unit back. But then again, I didn't really have anything worth bringing back. No, I didn't even have anything to bring back until the aggressors died anyway.
Yeah, because I actually nearly kill most of your units. But that was really because one Intercessor Sergeant isn't a threat, so I'm just going to leave him alone and shoot something bigger.
I will say, I guess I like the scenario from the point that both sides can probably take any unit from the collection and they'll be viable, since it's basically just going to be a big scrum in the middle. Wow. Probably every Space Marine unit except the bikes.
Yeah, I mean, the only real advantage for the bikes is their speed, but you don't really need that in this position because you've got so long to...
Yeah, I mean, you could take stuff like the Chaplain and the Reavers, and then I did think about taking the Dreadnought, which just like charging in with everything might actually work, where you just try and win through weight of attacks, take like the Chaplain and Reavers and stuff. And for the Death Guard, I mean, I guess you could go 2 ways. You could either go for big units that have a lot of power and hope they survive, or take lots of little units and use the invulnerable save you get to keep them alive. The downside of the scenario is there isn't really an incentive for the Death Guard to do anything except sit around the objective, because it gives you a 5+ invulnerable save. And giving a 5+ invulnerable save to an army that's already pretty tanky. I mean, I know half the Death Guard army has a 5+ invulnerable save anyway, but giving a 5+ invulnerable save to Plague Marines, and even the Poxwalkers made their invulnerable saves at times.
Yeah, it saved some Plague Marines and it saved some Poxwalkers, and that was actually a big thing in the game.
And it would help your characters as well. And even with Null Zone is only casting an 8, and it's only a 6-inch range around the Librarian anyway. So
yes, exactly.
I think Chaos Spawn would really benefit from the 5+ invulnerable save, and they're quite deadly in melee. I mean, even Cultists, you get a 5+ invulnerable save and they might tank for hits. I guess you could do stuff like take Sniper Scouts, or maybe even the regular Scouts, and use Hellfire Shells to do mortal wounds. But I think the other main problem with the scenario is that we only have 3 command points. We probably should have done with at least 5. Probably not 6, because then I could bring 2 units back. Also, if you considered taking the Terminators and then use your stratagem on them, which again, I mean, with only 3 command points, you're using 2 of them for that. But if you could have used it on the Terminators, rules as written, possibly not as intended, they would have had a 3+ invulnerable save against shooting.
Yeah, because it says you had one to save rolls, it doesn't distinguish between armor saves and invulnerable saves.
Yeah, and then just relied on their tankiness to survive. As long as one of them lives, that's 14 power worth of unit.
I didn't bring them because I realised that actually if I didn't bring the Terminators I could bring a ton more other stuff, and you saw that my army was fairly effective as it was. With 3 demon engines it's hard to get rid of, and plenty of other stuff that could sit in the bubble of invulnerable saves. And if I had the Terminators, yes, I could have played that stratagem on them, but then they wouldn't have been able to move, and actually they do more damage in melee. The problem with the Terminators, I guess, as a unit is that their damage output isn't that high, and also there are only 3 of them, so they only cost... Actually that's the biggest problem. You should really have 5 of them. Yeah,
I mean, actually you probably would have been better off to be going for a 10-man unit of Plague Marines if you were going to use that strategy.
Yeah, 10 man unit Plague Marines with the +1 to saves and just park them somewhere then. But on the other hand, well, I guess the problem with my stratagem is, for example, I could have used it on the Plague Burst Crawler, which I didn't plan to move anyway, but you had the choice of which end to come on after you'd seen my deployment. So if I'd plonked the Terminators on one side and put that stratagem on, you could have just said, oh, I'm going to come on the other side, and then they're not going to be that relevant.
But the other thing is the Space Marines is you want to be together for your auras to work.
I mean, there were some ammo boxes littered around, you could have sat next to them, but the fact is you have to get close to the objective, so unless it's a unit that can move really fast, like maybe the Land Speeder, but...
I'd still think you're better off going all in on one side and then just wiping out all the defenders on that side so the other group have to move to defend anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, actually, I guess we could talk about the Noctilith Crown, because it's actually a model you can
It's in a regular Chaos army, you can take it with the Death Guard, and obviously we use the physical model rather than the cutout from the magazine. It looks nicer for the video. Also, you get to just see how huge it is. But it does a proper rule, so you can actually... It's basically like a vehicle that can't move. I think it's toughness 8 and has 14 wounds or something. And it does other stuff, like it makes non-Chaos Psychers perils on a double instead of just 1s and 6s. And it has a pistol attack that is reasonably deadly, but again, you're not going to charge it in melee, really. I can see why they didn't give it its full rules, obviously, because you don't really get one with a magazine. But if I could destroy it by shooting at it, I'd just do that.
Yeah, as you said, it has more effects, but if you bring it in a normal game, you have to pay for it. Yeah. On the other hand, if it isn't the objective around which you can just sit, then it's not going to be as much use, I guess.
And it has to be deployed in your deployment zone as well.
Yeah,
depending on the mission you're playing, it's probably totally useless.
Yes.
I guess we could talk about the Magnavent as well for all the one mission we saw in it. That was the other reason I chose my deployment zone, so we could actually see it this game. Because if I deployed on the other side, we wouldn't have seen it at all.
I think it's quite a good trained piece. It's very big.
Yeah. I think the full kit is something like £45. That also includes the Alchemite stack we got ages ago, which is actually part of this kit. But so it's actually fairly good value if you bought just the struts. You get it for almost a third of the price. And adds a nice bit of verticality that has been kind of lacking, I think.
So yeah, it's a shame we didn't get it earlier, because if they did, I'm sure they would have based some kind of mission around it, where it's like, I don't know, either have to capture it or even put the Alchemite stack in the middle like it's supposed to.
Yeah, and the ever classic capture of the terrain piece.
Yeah, there was no point you sending any models up it, because if you did, they'd have to come down.
Yeah, that's just wasting movement.
And they got cover from standing underneath it as well.
Well, I like how in the narrative, if the Space Marines win, then they just exterminate artists the planet and leave. Whereas in the Death Guard version, they just leave.
Yeah, exactly, because it says that, they're all dead on the ground, but their ships just run away. Why don't they just bombard the planet and then run away? It doesn't...
And why don't we just skip the whole battle and bombard the planet, if the plan was to bombard it in the end anyway?
Yeah, why do you have to come down and attack Felthius? Can't just drop something on his head from orbit, but no, apparently not.
I know, the orbital strike strategy was really bad, so I guess that's why we have to fight them on foot. But it's certainly a fittingly climactic conclusion.
Yeah, it was something a little bit different.
And we didn't plan it away, but it sort of worked out having Felthius at the end. If we pretend that Gangris and Typhus died.
Yeah.
Or Gangris at least. Typhus is certainly not dying.
Yeah, well, in the previous mission, the Space Marines managed to defeat the diversionary attack and then get here in time, just about.
Yeah, and we'll discuss our sort of conclusion of the magazine in a separate video that'll be out about the same time as this one.
Yes, as mentioned at the beginning, there will be a video with the overview of the entire collection, so you can actually see everything that we've got so far with the magazine, well, minus paints, technically, for paintbrushes and things. And in that video, there will also be our overall thoughts on everything from the general gameplay, the army building value of the collection, to our thoughts on the contents of the magazine.
And we'll also do a third video on how to expand on these collections.
Yeah, so when those are released, they will be in cards or descriptions or whatever on this video you're watching.
We'll definitely carry on with 40k content beyond this, and possibly try and do some other tabletop games as well. So we'll carry on with Mortal Realms, and maybe do other stuff like X-Wing or Infinity, maybe. Bolt action, that sort of thing.
Yep, but that will be all for this episode. So thank you very much for watching all of these videos. There will be plenty more to come, as Mike says. As always, if you like the video, leave a like and subscribe for more things to come, particularly our covering the 9th edition Warhammer 40,000 that's just been released. And let us know your thoughts about this game, about the collection as a whole, about the magazine. We'd be interested to hear what you have to say.
And particularly if you're in a country where this is still carrying on, especially if the magazine is changed to suit 9th edition, that would be interesting to hear.
But we've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we will see you all very soon.
Yeah, bye for now.